We have 6 ladies here, 6 out of the top 40 under 40 women 2025. The Business Daily today has their stories and all, but we want to hear from these 6 their specific stories. We have Carol Ofafa, Monica Moneki, Gloria Kimani, Ruth Apondi, Caroline Gadenji, and Angela Mutethia. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Congratulations. It's a big one. This is a big one, right?
I think this is where we do this.
Yeah? Cindy?
For you and all the others, congratulations.
Thank you.
So now Jano is going to welcome you with the day's quote. So as you come to introduce yourself, you'll be telling us your name and what you do, but then also you'll tell us what you think about this quote, right? What's the quote, Jano?
Yeah, this quote is interesting, and I'm very curious to hear, especially from women leaders. But let's read it first, and we'll see how you take it. So Angela Merkel, who obviously in her own way, she was the country's first female leader in Germany. In around 2010, she said this quote. She says, "Always be more than you appear, and never appear to be more than you are." Right? Always be more than you appear, and never appear to be more than you are. So, as Eric said, we'll just go around and get your reflections on this quote.
We'll start,
right? Your name,
start with Ruth, and then go on like that.
Okay. I am Ruth Apondi Omondi. I'm a nurse intern, and I'm also the founder of Smart Mama. Smart Mama is an initiative that I founded to provide access to information and quality care to pregnant women and mothers. Now, in regards to your quote, I think I'll say it maybe encourages us to be confident first, in as much as you might not be sure of where you're going to. The road ahead seems uncertain, but be confident first, and then everything will fall into place.
Oh,
beautiful.
Amazing. Thank you.
Carol.
Thank you very much. That's fantastic. My name is Carol Ofafa. I'm CEO and founder of Isafiri. At Isafiri, we are revolutionizing the transport sector. We're developing solar-powered charging infrastructure to support the transition.
Carol, your mic has an issue. We'll sort it out shortly. Sorry to... I know. This was your moment.
Pin, put a pin. We're coming back to you.
This is it.
And it's not you, it's us. We'll come back to you. Sorry about
we
that.
promise you. It's not about you, by the way. This is all about us. Nisisi.
Okay.
Monica.
All right, thank you. I hope mine is okay. My name is Monica Moneki, the CEO and co-founder of Avocap Asset Managers. What we do at Avocap is redefining wealth. We are here to help investors and basically the public to now shift to the new forms of creating wealth, moving away from the traditional ways of preserving and creating wealth. To the quote, I think it speaks directly to my mantra of leadership, that sometimes more action than talk is important. It really just makes you get there. Showing up, doing what you have to do, than saying or speaking big and not doing much. Yeah.
Very well said.
Where?
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Angela Mutethia. I am the co-founder and CEO at Mzito Africa Limited. We locally manufacture building and construction chemicals and are changing the landscape of locally manufactured construction goods. So in response to the quote, one is, as women and women leaders, we do so much more than what we seem or share to do. We are mothers, we are wives, we are sisters, friends in the background. And yes, it's part of our duty, and I think how we carry it with femininity dictates or shares the first part of the quote. As for the second part of the quote, one of the core biblical principles is to have a realistic view of oneself that allows you to constantly be grounded. In seeing yourself in a realistic way, it avoids a level of hubris. So no matter what you do, big or small, it keeps you very grounded to remember to have a realistic view of oneself.
I know. This is why they're top 40. Yeah? This is why they're top 40.
You'll love that. I mean, just listening to that and how they reflect on it. And this is giving an opportunity here for Carol to be given the mic so she can come and talk to us. I mean, it's just you can see that there's intentionality in people and what they do, in how people just wake up and decide this is who I am. And knowing who you are is very, very important. In just knowing who you are, and then you are then intentional about it.
Yeah.
You can't be intentional about something you don't know.
No. And also there's a quiet confidence, and then you're measured. You're aware of your gift and your skills, but you're measured in your approach of execution, which I think is so key.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I think we'll have...
Before Carol comes,
yes,
let's get the Wakili. You know, right
Wakili, a quick one.
Wakili, a quick one.
I do not promise on a quick one. Gloria Kimani is my name. I am an advocate and a human rights defender. What I basically do is being in the Council of the Law Society is connecting people to pro bono advocates when it comes to repression, especially on violations of human rights, and just coordinating and seeing the people are defended, and also getting advocates who are really committed and in the first line of defense when it comes to repression. On the court, I think, as it says, there's more to a person than you see. When someone, even in the work, there's so much happening in the background. But also on the second part of it, on the flip side of it, I think don't let your work overtake what you do, and be humble so that people can approach you to elevate the work that you do. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Carol, back to you.
Finally.
Yes, so my name is Carol Ofafa. I'm CEO and founder of Isafiri. We are driving the transition to sustainable mobility in rural and peri-urban areas. We're developing solar-powered charging stations, incorporating productive uses of energy into our charging hubs, and of course unlocking the market for women as well. So we want women to take ownership of their mobility and their transportation services. So we are present in the western part of the country, mostly rural and peri-urban areas. So with regards to the quote, I think my colleagues here are phenomenal. They've captured it quite well. But I would like to say that I would not want it to be interpreted, or that quote to be interpreted as a sense of humility. It should be, this quote is very powerful because it reminds you, or it grounds you, like you've said, but it also makes you aware. It should remind you to be aware of who you are and then show up as that person. But I do not believe that, especially African women, should be humble. Please own it, own who you are.
That's exactly why I wanted to share this quote. And I love all the interpretations I've heard, because on the onset, it can almost seem like you're reducing yourself, but you quickly learn that it's about, no, you know who you are. You don't need to explain it to anybody, but you can step in to your power. It's interesting you said that word humility and African women. Maybe it's because it's been weaponized against African women. Okay, so now maybe without humility, you can all tell us how you feel about being top 40. I was telling, well, you said when I was Gen Z, when I was Zillennial, and I got, when I was Zillennial a long time ago, 10 years ago, I got this call. And I don't know how you feel, but I remember it completely, it was probably one of the most humbling calls I ever got, because number one, I didn't expect it. And number two, Eric mentioned earlier, you don't know who's actually watching what you're doing, taking stock of what you're doing, and then saying, you know what, they deserve this because they met this whole criteria. So maybe again, just going around to understand from you, how did you feel when you got the call? Were you like, yeah, it's taken you guys long enough. Surely, 5 years.
Do you know who nominated you?
And then, yeah, just talk to us about the experience. I like what he's asking. Do you know who nominated you? So anyone can start. How did you feel when you got the call? And how can you step into it boldly without humility and say, yeah, this is why I think I deserve to be among the top 40. So anyone can go first.
I think I'd like to clear something. Humility doesn't mean that we make ourselves small. It means that people can approach us from every walks of life. So I think it's a debate we're having. Humility is really important in someone's journey so that people can be able to relate with you in every step of the journey. It does not mean that you lower yourself to become what people want to. Okay, in short, let's not lower ourselves, but humility does not mean lowering ourselves. When I got the call, I was surprised, and I was like, what? Me? Gloria making it? But then looking after the call, I was like, truly, I think I do deserve it because I have put in the effort, I have put in the work, and people have actually seen the work. And I remember when I got the call, when they came to my office, I asked them, who nominated me?
and they didn't tell me. But I told them one day it'll come to light. By the end of the day, I even didn't ask the one who nominated me. And I think for me, I'm proud to say it's the president of the Law Society of Kenya, Faith Odhiambo. She thought that we have been doing a good work together, and women need to be elevated for the women who have been doing this work to be seen and heard.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I know later we'll come around and learn a little bit more about the work you do, but I think it's fantastic that she nominated you.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Anyone else want to share their moment of getting the call?
Angela is looking down like she wants to nominate someone.
Why would you choose the person?
She's like, trying to stay humble in the room.
Okay, first of all, on that topic of humility.
There you go.
I think
It's a healthy debate.
I think it has been such a hot topic, especially within the circles that I am in, because we have realized that there is a sense of false humility. False humility is a form of self-sabotage, because then you are downplaying the gifts and the talents that have been bestowed upon you for a reason. So there is a difference between having a realistic view of oneself and false humility, and a realistic view of oneself is true humility. So distinction. I did find out who nominated me. In the process, I was shocked, and the first person I called was Mercy Randa, who is a very close friend of mine, and I was like, people know what we've been doing, because it's been so many years of hard work, so many ups and downs, and realizing that, oh, wait, maybe there is somebody who is watching and there is a form of impact that we are making is something that I am very, very honored about. And so I take my flowers. I am learning how to take my flowers and take them with a smile.
That's amazing.
And hold them in front.
And hold them.
When you're walking.
Hold the
don't
bouquet.
hide them, right?
Hold them in
Walk
front.
around with your flowers right there in front of you.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I think I can go next. When I received the call, I was, first of all, very surprised, because I have a friend who works here, and they told me the day I was nominated. They didn't tell me who nominated me, but they told me, we hope you make it, because there are so many women, more than 200, I think she mentioned at that time, who've been nominated. So we hope the judges will go through and we will emerge a winner. So when I received this call, I was very surprised, but at the same time, very honored. It's a feature that I always envied to be featured. And sometimes, as we are saying, whatever you do may not be seen by everyone, but you know the work you put to impacting, to creating a purpose in this life, and helping people realize or even get improved life, or what they do. So I feel extremely honored. It's humbling to be honest, the right humbling, the positive humbling, the one that is approachable. Yeah. So and I think at it, just to weigh into the humility conversation, and I like what they have shared. It is being ready and open to be approached by people across all walks of life, because what we are doing is impacting lives. So if you remain this very unapproachable person up there, then you may not be able to fully impact. Yeah, so let's keep on.
Let's keep on. Amazing.
Ruth.
I know.
Carol, okay.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. I'm happy that I sparked this debate with my very comment on humility at the beginning, but it's wonderful to have these conversations. I got the call when I was in Accra, in Ghana, and I was, just like my colleagues here, I was shocked that somebody was watching and somebody has been inspired by our work. And I found out who nominated me as I was trying to find out if the email I received was actually legitimate. So I was doing my due diligence to make sure, and I found out that Nora Magero, the CEO of Drop Access, a fantastic woman who's working in different rural communities as well, empowering the vaccine and cold storage industry, nominated me. She's brilliant in the sense that she has really worked with several organizations with many women in her communities. And I thought, you know, she's looking behind and looking at us who just started, and is inspired by the work we do. So I think that is very fantastic. But like I said, it's an acknowledgement of what you have done, but it's also a responsibility. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that nomination, I saw that invitation for interview, I thought this is actually a responsibility that comes with an acknowledgement of what you've done, and we are responsible for inspiration to other women who will come up behind us, as those who came before us also inspired us. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Now, remember that day vividly. And when I was contacted, first I was very excited. I was over the moon. But then I started second doubting. I was thinking, is it true? Or someone playing an April Fool's prank on me? But then, now after conversing further, that is when I realized that it is actually happening. I have been nominated. I know for sure that my family played a major role, and those are the people that I can count and say they nominated me, and also nominated myself. But again, after that, you know, I was like, will this go through? But then I told myself that for as long as I've given it a shot, whatever happens, happens. But I was quite confident I will get feedback and it will be positive. So I'm happy at this age to be amongst the top 40 under 40 women. I mean, I think it's something I'll carry over the years. Yes, I'm proud.
You're proud.
Beautiful.
I know. You know, Ruth has mentioned something that I truly believe oftentimes people, but women grapple with. I still do to this day. I'm like, okay, if I'm invited somewhere, imposter syndrome, right? It's real, and yet you are right now among the most influential women in the country. But you know, I think what you've spoken to is very real. Is it really me? Did they really mean me? I know we're going into a break, but when you come back, I'd really like to find out from you how you're able to balance management, collaboration, and still not being swayed or pushed back by fear, held back by fear. Because I think it's the way society speaks to women. It's changing, but it's still there. What Ruth felt is still very alive. So just coming back to find out how you're able to navigate that success, staying grounded, and also pushing back when you know this is a space that I deserve to occupy in the work that you do. But it's coming up to, it's already past 8:30. See what happens when we're many. Yeah. It's coming up to 8:30. We are speaking to some of the nominees for top 40 under 40 women in Kenya with the Business Daily. We'll come back and learn a little bit more about their journey and how they'll continue to sustain and carry this light forward. Fixing the nation, one conversation at a time. Back in a bit. Hey, I did it, Mariam. Some comments.
Well done.
Well done. Profound, Angele Mutethia. So that's congrats to you. You go, Carol. That's Isaac Ngono. Good morning, Wazalendo. That's Emmanuel Templar. Congrats, Ruth Apondi. That's Moses Mochu. Wanda Walter says, Carol, I like how you balance business with uplifting those around you. It shows true strength and leadership. Keep shining, keep growing, and keep inspiring. The world needs more of your light. Absolutely. The world needs more of all of you and your light.
Yeah, and you're doing something that is so profound. I'd like to hear how, Ruth, you decided to go into Smart Mama, right? Because you've told us about Smart Mama. You've studied nursing, maternal health nursing, and now you decided, let me go into Smart Mama. What exactly is Smart Mama, and what made you get into it?
During my clinical experience back in school, it's when I would interact with pregnant women coming to the clinic or those coming to deliver, and I would observe that they would lack information regarding either pregnancy on its own or arising complications that they face. And this sparked an interest in me, and I figured, what if now these women could have someone to educate them, to guide them throughout pregnancy all the way to postpartum, and even during when they're bringing up the kids, then it will be better. They will be empowered and they'll be able to make informed decisions. And then now we wouldn't be having such undesirable outcomes. And now I started it gradually, because now I was in school balancing books and trying to cultivate this idea, it was quite challenging. So I joined some incubation programs in school, in Kenyatta University. The idea grew. I got to learn about digital health, telemedicine, and how I can incorporate it. Now, upon graduation, now that is when I had the liberty and also more time, in as much as I also have been on internship. I figured I can now integrate it, because being on internship, I've been on the ground more, and I have a better understanding now of how to maneuver it and even how to guide these pregnant women.
You know, Ruth, you'll come one day here so that you now join us. Now, you alone, because I think it's a very interesting thing. You know, many people, it doesn't matter how well educated you are, but in that journey to motherhood, it's confusing to both the would-be mother, would-be father. You thought you know things you don't know, and at that point you just want to get some information. That's why people just spend their time on Google. Oh, should this? Oh, at this point this should be happening to you. It's not happening, so am I okay? Am I not? And I think just having a platform that is authentic and it responds to all your queries and walks the journey with you. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's like walking with a companion.
Yes.
Because it's also such an individual journey. People experience it, but it can also feel very isolating and confusing. Sometimes you're going through and navigating things that not other mothers have navigated. Gosh, my mind has gone to one experience that found me in a salon. And I was just like, what is happening? Am I dying? I didn't know that what was happening to me can happen, but then there's no information. So I think you're right. Let's have more information on motherhood, on what to navigate, so that you don't feel so alone.
And there are very many plugins that can come in here, because also, I mean, from there, as you're walking through this journey on Smart Mama, then other people can come and show you, I mean, this, you'd like to buy just the stuff as you prepare to have your baby. Where do I get these things? How do I know where to get, you know, the diapers for day one?
Biashara Street.
Where do I, you know, all those things. Instead of walking to Biashara Street and doing all the, so which shop in Biashara Street do I go to? And all that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that you can.
Absolutely.
When you're starting that, I mean, you've gone through school, Ruth, and here you are leaving school, you're graduating, you're doing internship, and you're starting this particular business. What kind of support are you getting from family and friends? Are they looking at you and thinking, sasa wewe unatuitisha pesa na tushakulipia fees ya kuanza kampuni?
Well, my family has been the greatest support, because you know, they always encourage me to keep moving. Whatever you need, just tell us, we'll provide it for you, and keep focusing on your goal. So now that has also been a drive for me to rise up beyond my capabilities and strive to make sure that Smart Mama is among the best, and also I get to provide my services at the top-notch level. So my friends too, I've worked with them, because sometimes due to the distance, I get to call them, I tell them, I need you to go and see a client in Nairobi. They do it on my behalf. You see, now instead of me traversing, coming to Nairobi again, I have someone to do that for me, which makes it easier. So both parties, family and friends, have supported me, and I know even as I progress further, their support will be continuous. Yeah.
Incredible. Wakili Gloria Kimani. I think about how the last 1 year has probably been one of those character development moments for legals in this country, right?
Yes.
Y'all were like, we're pursuing law, and then everything shifts in the country. I'm curious just to some of the questions, even Eric has asked Ruth a little bit about your journey and how you were able to get there, but how the last 1 year shaped you in terms of, just representing Kenyans during a pretty difficult time in our country.
First, I was thrown into the bus. That is one thing.
Baptism by fire.
Yes, by fire. I remember, I remember, for me, I call the last 1 year my blessing in disguise. So, because I never knew that the connections I had are the ones to elevate me, even to this, I'm sitting here because of the work that we have been doing. And so I never knew that would be the one that is bringing me to people on this table or taking me. I was given an opportunity to go to South Africa for a fellowship, which I did not apply, and I had there are people who had applied, but there are people who thought this girl is doing something and she needs to sit with other people, like-minded people, and just get to hear what others are doing and also replicate it back in her country. And all these things coming together. So for me, it has been, let me say, a difficult journey. You're not sleeping at home. You're fearing, oh, they will arrest you because you're the one who is going out there, especially in police stations. There are police stations during protests these days. I cannot go alone because we used to go and they see you, they shut down. They're like, this one is the troublemaker. They're coming to release these people. And at times you start softly and then you realize, it seems that the police really do not want to work with us. And then now is when do you know our rights? You know we are Achilles, and it just comes out. There's just some, I think it's a good anger at times that comes out, and you realize, oh my God, all these things. But then again, realizing that those police at times are the ones who are going to help you. So it's a really delicate and fine line that, at the end of the day, we have to work with the police. If anything happens right now, we are going to call upon the police. So it's balancing the relationship between the people you are going against and the people who are going to protect you, and even the public. At times when the public sees that you're laughing with a police officer or you're talking with a police officer, they necessarily don't understand that we are trying to keep relations for you to be out. We cannot all come guns blazing, because when we do come guns blazing, guns will blaze. Yes. So at times it's a very delicate relationship to keep, trying to tell people we need to work with these people. At the end of the day, they're the ones who are mandated by the Constitution to protect us, and we need to hold them accountable for that. And also trying to tell the public, yes, we might have an anger towards them, but not all of them did it. And those who did it, we are going to keep them accountable. So it's just a delicate line.
It's balance.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to achieve with the law firm that you founded? Well, how do you hope to integrate this kind of messaging or integrate this kind of collaboration between the public, legal fraternity, and police service?
So let me just say, the law firm does simply other things, not necessarily what I'm doing for the public right now. What I am doing for the public is human rights defense, and that's why I call myself a human rights defender before I call myself an advocate, because now my training as an advocate actually helps in the human rights defense, because now I know how to navigate and I know the law. So at times now that's how it comes. But for the law firm, we do all other matters, civil, criminal, constitutional matters, but it's different. But the training as an advocate is what has actually helped navigate all this process. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. There's always something when you're dealing with cops. And there's a line they are fond of using, hutanifunza sheria. Now you're a lawyer. And here's a cop telling you, hutanifunza sheria. So how do you respond? What do you tell them? Sitakufunza. Lakini, haujui.
Now there is when how you come at me, just expect an exact response. Now is when, again, you have to look at the situation. Is it a situation to be hostile? Or is it a situation, okay, Sitakufunza, yes, you have been doing this, but look at this angle. But there are times I tell them, no, what you're doing is outrightly wrong. And especially when it comes to a violation, we especially personally for Gloria, I do not compromise. And I usually tell police, don't think we are going to bembeleza you for our rights. It's our rights. We demand them. And at times I tell them, usidhani tumekuja hapa kubembeleza. The one situation, and I like saying it. I remember in January, there were people who were arrested. I can't remember whom, but there were people who were arrested. And we went to Central Police Station, and I was with some of the Amnesty group, the lawyers. We were like 6 and Kenya National. And the OCS then was Talam. He kept us for 6 hours. Remember, this work, at times, when you go to the police station, the least you can spend as a lawyer is 3 hours trying to talk to the police. Oh, they are not there, they have gone, and things like that. So you take a bit of time. And I remember at that time, it was in the night, it's 10, you're a girl, I'll have to go home alone. And you're looking at it and you're wondering. So I remember one time he walked in the office and I told him, the day will come and we will never defend you. And true to the word, it came to be, and we can see what is happening in the Limelight and the Albert case. So at times you have, it's a thin line. It's a thin line where we have to navigate one way or another. Yeah.
Wow, it's thankless. And in fact, this is also where I bring in Angela. I think what I'm hearing so far from Ruth, from Wakili, is there's an element of thanklessness that comes with doing this work. Would you resonate in the same way, Angela, as well?
Well, for any entrepreneur, it can be a thankless job. Oh, it does get ugly. But for the most part, we live within a space and a time where opportunities abound. So the wiring or the madness in an entrepreneur's mind inclines you to follow what is working, what is good, and pushing to incline towards that side. So it can be thankless, but in equal measure, it comes with its goodness and greatness.
Wow, you're wired to be disruptive.
And make a decision at any point.
At any point.
Listen, this lady, Angela Mutedia, studied actuarial science at JKUAT. She's done year 1, year 2, year 3. Final year, she's like, this thing does not align with me. Final year, Janet. She decided to quit actuarial science and go study marketing at KU. From JKUAT to KU to study. This one. At 16 is when she started her first business. Wow. Now you see, actuarial science, marketing. She's running a company called Mzito Africa, which does what? It does locally made high quality materials, dry powder products used for integral waterproofing. That is construction. Actuarial science, marketing ends up in construction. Angela.
Would you want her to explain herself?
Yeah, please.
Okay, allow me to. And one, let me begin with the line and the notion that careers are no longer linear. No longer linear. And for survival in this time and in this age, we don't necessarily need to have linear career paths. So yes, actuarial science was a case of umemaliza shule, unaelewa mahesabu. Ile course utafanya ni actuarial. It's marketable. That's what we were told. So you get in first year, second year, third year. Hey, umeandika karatasi mbili, letters but mathematics. Fourth year, honestly, a call had to be made. During this whole time, I was running a business. I started my fashion business at 16, and that was inspired by my grandmother, who used to make half jackets for my father and his brothers to sell at University of Nairobi to complement their income, kuongezea boom, right? So I saw what she did, and without any formal training, she was able to build a very formidable business in Kitui. So moving from that, by the time I was getting to fourth year, honestly, I was not being truthful to myself, and that's why I left. And everyone would say, Maliza tu, ni semester mbili. And I'm like, hey.
Maliza hasa wende, alafu hasa ufanye marketing. At least utakuwa na degree.
No, but by the time umemaliza, there's actuarial paper 1, actuarial paper 2, and there were like 17 papers. You cannot practice without them. So it was a longer line and a longer path. So I made the call and I left and did marketing, which I thoroughly enjoyed, because I do believe that I have been wired to be an entrepreneur. I've been wired to be a businesswoman. I can spot opportunity. I know and understand how to build systems, and that's what's required. Moving from that into construction is because after fashion, I ran a business called Kapulangu. We curated African homemade goods, and that evolved into doing home renovations, into doing commercial renovations, understanding the challenges with construction. Na ule mtu hapo kwa hiyo site mwenye client atatetesha ni wewe, juu ni wewe ameona akapatia wewe kazi. So if you went and bought materials, thought that they were of good quality, and then they come and the waterproofing fails, guess who has to take the fall for it? It's you, the person the client gave the job. And within that point, I asked myself a question. First of all, can it be that difficult to do? Because one thing I truly believe is, as Kenyans, we need to stop saying, hii biashara ni ya kina wale. Na hii ni ya kina wale. The marketing, if you look at it from a point of manufacturing, Africa's trade, total inter-African trade, 6.3% is of locally manufactured goods. Goods made in Africa only account for 6.3% of the trade we run through Africa. And if you look at it in that point, even a layman will tell you that there's a huge opportunity if you are bold enough and willing to take the hit and the punches that come with it. So that's how Mzito was born. In saying we can actually make good products, waterproofing, tile adhesive, skimming, good quality products locally, made by locals. In that, we're not only producing for ourselves here, but also to export within the rest of Africa.
You've made some really critical points. I'll hear briefly from Monica and Carol just before the break. And I think when we come back, Eric, it'll be important to understand how what they do is kind of playing a fix in the bigger conversations in their industries, because that's essentially what we're looking for. Monica, is there anything that Angela said that has resonated with you, whether it's about being wired for entrepreneurship, whether it's about sometimes you choose a path and somewhere along the way you say, you know, I need to pivot. What about what she said has stood out for you?
What has stood out is the skill set required for an entrepreneur and the mindset. Yes, it's a thankless job sometimes and most of the times, but it's a calling. It's not something you choose. You actually find yourself in the space. You can see gaps, you have solutions, you feel you can innovate. And that boldness that she's finally concluded with is the key thing that is going to take us to the next fixing the nation place. Because if you see it, if you feel it, and you don't act, then that's where the whole thing, that's a differentiating point. So I think for us here, the fact that we took that bold move, and on my end, what I can say is, having been in the investment space, talking to investors, giving them the vanilla products, buy a bond, sell, buy shares, you know, markets are now open, but what next? And the clients are asking you, the investors are asking you, what next? I have bought land, I have land, but I cannot be able to liquidate it. It's not giving me cash flows. What can I do? And I need cash flow to survive. So you get yourself thinking on how can I bring a solution towards what they are asking, because the platforms are there, and it's rewarding to step up and bring that innovation to life. And that's what we are doing. We are impacting lives in that way, helping people around investments, not just accumulating hard wealth, but also liquid wealth. Yeah.
Profound. On the Business Daily article, Monica is quoted saying, the biggest hurdle to overcome is oneself. There's that self-doubt that checks in at some time, but once you overcome that, you realize there's no height you cannot get to, and that doesn't end there. I mean,
relatable.
I want to know that formula. The formula for overcoming that self-doubt.
We'll come to
X is equal to MC plus.
We'll come to the formula, but just before that, just coming again to Carol, you've heard what all of your other peers have said, whether it's in entrepreneurship, whether it's facing new challenges, whether it's trying to find support from family and friends. Speak to all of this into your own journey, even with regards to the work you do.
Yeah, I think it was quite interesting hearing Angela speak about her experience and how she transitioned from career to career, or from sector to sector, until she found her calling, because I am a trained electrical engineer. But then when I finished university, I worked Mjengo. So I worked in a construction site in Kibeba, materials for electrical wiring, pulling cables and conduits through buildings. And I think that was also a very fulfilling part of my journey, because it taught me resilience, but also taught me how to relate with different people from all walks of life. It was the most beautiful experience, I would say. That also then transitioned into going to work for KPMG. So I collected these different experiences, and at the end of the day, the way Isafiri was born and how we ended up here was not necessarily because of any form of training. I had, picked this and that from everywhere, from KPMG, from working at Ketraco, working Django. It was literally the world transitioning, or the global leaders making commitment to transition to sustainable transport, or to electric transport. And I wondered, what would that look like for Africa? Right, so we see Africa having about 34% of all Africans not having access to proper transport, or at least sustainable modes of transportation. And of course, when you look at the climate conversation, rural areas are going to be hit the hardest, because then we're going to be impacted economically, humanitarian crisis, and all these other aspects that require access to mobility and access to energy. So I asked myself as an engineer, how would I incorporate the two and find a solution for, well, that's how Isafiri was born. Well,
we'll pick up right after the break. You said incorporating energy?
Access to energy and access to sustainable mobility.
All right, let's pick that up. When we come back, it's coming up to 9 a.m. We're honored to be in studio with some of the nominees for Top 40 Under 40 in Kenya. We'll come back and continue these conversations with them. And more than that, speak to how it's playing such an integral part in the industries that they belong to. Fixing the Nation, one conversation at a time. Back in just a moment.
This is a good one to get out of the break with. There's a girl called Kaveni, and she's watching her mother with eyes wide with wonder. The mother just spoke. Carol.
Hi, Kaveni. Mommy loves you.
Back in a moment. Yeah.
Things are moving. Some messages before we get back to the conversation. I think we read some. Sarah Mutanu saying profound. Angela. Bana, who else here? We have Wamboy Daniel. Congratulations, Monica. Ruth deserves the best. Smart Mama is an initiative that will help both mothers and infants. I think the government should hear her out. She has something that can curb this crisis. Juliet Wambua says, these women represent the diversity of women who do great things out here. Their work and stories are a true inspiration to us on a Monday morning. So that's to all of you. Receive your flowers. Emmanuel Templar, women work twice as hard to get half as far. It highlights the feeling that some individuals or groups may experience a disproportionate effort to reward ratio. Interesting, Emmanuel. Thank you for that. Wallwise Tete says, I'm cheering all the way from Ghana. You're doing amazing work with Isafiri. You inspire many women. And finally, Ray Kimani says, congratulations, Angela, our trailblazer, keep soaring. So your people are watching, your families, your friends, your colleagues, and the members of the public. Right.
So I want to come back to that question I asked Monica.
Formula.
Monica, you are co-founder of Avocap Asset Managers, where you manage people's money. And you say you're not just doing those things that you're putting them vanilla, buy bond here, buy bill there. You're doing something more. What you do is extremely and directly impactful. We are not just managing people's funds, but also people's goals, people's dreams, and families. And it's profound. But on top of that, you said the biggest hurdle to overcome is oneself. That's a self-doubt that checks in at some time. But once you overcome that, then it's smooth sailing. How did you overcome your self-doubt?
Wow. From a young girl and from the way I've been raised, I could see resilience in the family. And I could see my mom work so hard for us. I don't think Sunrise has ever found my mom in bed. And so that's what was embedded. And I look back at how that has subtly worked on me, because we may not have had that kind of background where educated parents, always inspiring, speaking it out, but they led by action. And so all the way to where I am, I would say I am self-made. I have worked hard to be where I am. And what I can say is that self-doubt always checks in, especially when even the people around you may not know what you have in you. That fire burns only in you, and you're the one who feels it. You feel the heat of the fire. And so you need to always reassure yourself. And this is not easy, but you do it by, one, adopting some strategies. For example, listening to other women who have made it, other leaders. Of course, staying close to God and making sure that you are you're solid and locked in the word properly, because a lot of distractions come. Naysayers are there. Society believes, all those things come in. And so when I say you're the only person you need to beat, that is exactly it. You beat yourself and you will overcome everything else.
What was the feeling when you got your first client, your first 1,000? Right now, you're managing 1.5 billion shillings plus. So you're rolling in there. But how was it when you actually got the first sign-up?
All right. Currently, we are Avocap is actually clocking 4 billion assets under management. And I remember the first time we signed up our client. Of course, these are clients you've worked with the journey, advising them, but not showing them exactly where to place the fund. So when we set up Avocap, we went back to the clients we have been working with, advising, and told them about our dream, I and the leadership behind, who have wealth in investment banking. And so when the first client signed up and said, because you say so, I will invest, those were some of the sure ways that were telling us that whatever we are doing, we are on the right track. So it was humbling. We started thousand by thousands, millions, building on to hundreds of millions, and now billions. And we look forward to even bigger growth. Yes.
You know, we are being modest here. Yeah.
How are we being modest?
You know, just think of people. I think it's a very emotional moment when you sign off your first client, when you sign off your first sponsor, supporter, right? When you started Dada, for example, and you just got that first person to come and say, yes, go ahead, I'm going to support you. It's not something that's so easy. Well, it's not. I'm not talking about it being easy like that. It's not. It's not something that you can ever forget.
No, you can't,
right?
Because it sets the ball rolling.
Yes, and that feeling of confidence that somebody has in you, in what they're saying, is heavy. But also there's the weight of the responsibility that comes with it.
Oh my gosh.
Monica. Kwanza, this is somebody's money.
Yes. Now that's where leadership checks in, because you have to be a leader who has integrity in making sure that where you're placing the investors' funds, these are well vetted places that you're putting the money in. Also, the teams you're bringing on board, it's good to make sure they understand the weight on the shoulders of the founders, because you can imagine clients are coming on board because of what you as a founder is doing or has the vision you've shared. So they have to also own it and run with it. And that's the role of a leader, just making sure that everyone who is in the ecosystem understands the vision and owns it, so that we can all work towards this huge responsibility of making sure, as I said, we are not just managing funds and numbers and zeros, but here are people's dreams, people's lives. You know, this is, you sit down with a client who is telling you about their 2-year-old child when they'll go to university. Surely you cannot mess up with something like that. Someone who is telling you this is my retirement package. Someone who is telling you this is my retirement home, my parent, you know, so it's weighty.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you said it's ensuring everybody in the ecosystem not only understands but owns the vision. We'll come to this word called balance, which sometimes not triggered. I'm just like, oh, what is this work-life balance? And only say that because Carol's daughter sent her message, and I want to come back and find out what's the loss sometimes. Is there mom guilt? I sometimes struggle with mom guilt 4 out of 5 times in a week when I make it here on this set and have to leave post-its for my 6- and 9-year-old, but we'll come to that. I want to come back to Wakili, and she says here, what she defines as success has evolved with time. I thought success meant richness, but right now I look at success differently. When I look at my life, am I satisfied with it? Is my health okay? Family, spiritual? Am I doing something that is fulfilling me? If yes, then it's a successful life. A lot of people are reflecting on the definition of success. It used to be burning the midnight oil 24/7, and I know there's seasons for that. But how important is it that people carve out their own meaning of success? Because I think some people will say, I want the success that this person has or the other. What can you speak to in terms of carve out your own success story?
Again, I like what Monica has said. It's about beating me and me alone. And this journey, you're alone. So I think when I think of someone else's success, I have not walked their journey. So if I try and carve my success to yours, I'll be forming a version of yourself that I am not. Gloria has walked a different journey from what you have walked, and I have different capabilities from what we might have similarities, but the journey you have walked is not the same, and the milestones we'll get are not the same. So personally, I would like to to have my success as mine and not being a mini somebody else or a different version of someone else, but to be known as Gloria. And maybe that's why I prefer knowing myself as Gloria. So when people call me as Wakili, I'm like, yeah, it's a good title. It's a good title to have in the society. But if I see myself as that, I will be thinking what other lawyers do, but I would like to be identified as me and me alone. Yeah.
Definition of success, Eric.
Well, that's a good one. I agree. And that balance then, I mean, I know, as a mom and you spend so much time with your baby, and then you are also looking at balancing that with life balance. I know it's a trigger. Even I sometimes am like, this work-life balance story, how do you actually navigate it nicely? But let's just throw it to Caro. Caro, okay.
Over to you.
Take it. Do you have to balance, or is it just life? Are you just living life, or are you doing a work-life balance?
Right. I believe that the concept of work-life balance is quite challenging. It's quite a challenging one, because for me, based on my experience, there's always been a trade-off. And what I always have to ask myself at each turning point is it a worthy trade-off? Because I left to go do my master's and a Commonwealth scholarship, and those don't come by easy. So many people apply for so many years, and if you get a chance to get in, you really want to go and further your education. And my daughter, who just called in or texted in, was 1.5 years old at the time. It was one of the hardest decisions I had to make to leave her for a year and come back and start connecting and bonding again. So I believe that there's really not a proper way to say there's a balance, but I would say that for me, it's important to go to bed every day and be happy with the decisions I made that day and be happy with the trade-offs that I had to make. So if I was able to spend, 40% of my day with her or with my daughter or with my family, and then on Saturday I'm able to spend 80, I would be happy with that trade-off. Yeah, thank you.
You said, that was really good. Be happy with the decisions you made that day.
Yeah.
And then almost like reset the next day over.
Next day, for sure.
I think I'm trying to practice that. I've given up feeling guilty every day because it's exhausting. And so now I talk to my sons and I say to them, this is why mom needs to do A, B, C, D. And I noticed in communicating, and they let me know in 10 years if it works, but in communicating, there's a semblance of, okay, we get it. You can't be home with us all the time. You need to go to work. You need to do this. So I like that. I think I'll practice. Are you happy with the decisions you made today? And even speaking to that, even as we come to Angela and Ruth. Ruth, you said here, when the odds are against her, she looks at the positive outcomes compared to the negatives. What are some of the odds that happen against you that you think also happen to a lot of women who are entrepreneurs?
Well, I'd say that starting is not easy because there's a lot of self-doubt, a lot of hesitation, a fear too, because I keep, now when the idea was developing, I was asking myself, is this going to make an impact? Are people going to see that this is something that is making sense, or is it just making sense to me? But I figured that, I'll just keep going. Whoever will see the impact will come on board and join the bandwagon as we move towards the common goal. And then also, maternal and child health is a delicate aspect for me. It involves bringing new life into this world. So there are those moments of loss that really set me back because sometimes it can't be prevented, and also at times there's nothing you can do about it. So it's a learning opportunity for me, and also to the mom, I get to be of support to her. Now they get to know that, okay, it's loss, and now I'm going to postpartum without a baby, but I have someone that we can navigate through this without being overwhelmed. Yeah, I'm aware that as I grow, I'll keep on encountering more and more challenges, and I think those challenges are what are going to form now another story. Yes.
That's powerful. And when you think about maternal child health, how do you think part of what you do could also address the bigger issues in the sector, in the health sector in Kenya? Because right now, I mean, there's many things we can speak to. We don't need to go into the shift and shah, but they are difficult. When you look at what you do and how you're intervening, what do you wish the government could borrow from your model?
Well, I'd wish the government to make maternal and child health care a core of healthcare services. When it comes to funding, allocate the right amount of resources that you require, and also for such initiatives that are starting, offer support. You know, if you can take it up, that's okay. Figure out how we can blend in and work together towards achieving a common goal, because our mortality rate in Kenya is it's really bad, and in as much as we're working towards achieving SDG 3 Vision 2030, we still have a long way to go, and we need to pull in all the resources and manpower to make sure that we achieve it.
Okay.
You have many fans.
You have many fans. Many fans. Okay.
Ruth Wengi, your colleague Stephen Karani is watching you. Says congratulations. Gracie amekusalimia. Says we're watching you, Ruth, on TV right now, and just had to say we love you. You're absolutely shining. We're so proud of you. Keep being amazing. Ruth, you are the youngest of the 40 this year at 24. Right? Wow. So yes, you have an extra bouquet of flowers because of this thing that you're starting, and you're already making an impact at this age, and believing that there's a change that you can make. Just like you've said, there's a change that you can make, not just to the women that you deal with, the families that you deal with, but to the system. In them seeing that it's actually possible for us to offer this service in another way, in a different way.
Yeah. It's remarkable. I had a question here of what would you tell your 20-year-old self? Ruth is like, I'm still in. What do you, he's like, you want me to talk to myself now? And by the way, you're all so young. You are all so young. So it's incredible to be here. And as somebody who is now entering the second act of life, I think Jackson, the director, is laughing. It's important to recognize that the transition can be very jarring, but I think there's a lot that you can carry into it. That's a sidebar conversation, because I do sometimes feel there's such a power in transitioning, in women getting older, but it's sold as a scam, which is very strange. But it's sold as a scam, because you're told, oh my God, now you're over this and over that, and you can't. It's like, no, that's when your intuition is sharper. That's when all of these things become real. But it's incredible that you've started here, because it can only get better. So don't believe the scam. On this side, it's also very nice. In fact, Business Daily, top 50 under 50. Asking for a friend. I wanted to ask Angela, what's been your most defining yes and most important no in your career so far?
Most defining yes and most
important no.
Most important no. Most important no ties back to the conversation that we just had.
Okay.
And that ties back to the element of balance. I don't think there's balance, but there's intention and the power of either using yes or no. I've been granted the good fortune of having a very supportive partner who's also the chairman of our family group. And at 2:30, he doesn't take a meeting after. So I learned how to say no to certain meetings after a certain point in time, because then I have very little children who also need my time and attention. So I now use no a lot more. And my most defining no's are to set boundaries, especially with my family. Most defining yes, saying yes to this interview. Yes, but saying yes to this interview, and also saying yes to taking up the challenge of being in the industry that I am in, because it only opened a space and a gap that has allowed me to see just how few people that look like me are within that space. Yes.
Boundaries.
Have clients asked you the age question?
Not only the age question, but the gender question.
I was avoiding the gender one.
It's a safe space. You can ask.
Okay, if it's a safe space, I've had a supplier walk into our office and ask me, so who owns the business? After like 30 minutes of negotiation on price and terms and delivery, ask, so who is the real owner of the business? Are you like a front for the Chinese? Because we exist in a space that's dominated by a lot of foreigners, go downs that have foreigners are Kenyan, foreigners are Kenyan. But now I'm used to it, and I am no longer answering it with timidity. I'm answering it with a lot of confidence, yes.
You know, I remember watching an interview by Rita Kaveshe, the MD and CEO of Isuzu East Africa. Yeah. She's been in that industry forever. And when she was appointed MD and CEO, she said actually that one of the moments when she's there and a client, a big client, walks into the room and says, so who makes the decisions here?
Very common.
And she said, although I was triggered, I knew I needed to manage this situation.
Yes.
Okay? Manage the situation in such a way that I walk the journey with them so that I build their confidence and their trust.
And understand.
And not take this personality. You think as guys. So how do you do that? How do you do that, you know, as Carol, as you're going and you're saying, you know, I'm doing this e-mobility.
It's so very interesting because I think
kampuni ni ya nani? Walikupatia job sababu ni engineer lakini mwenye pesa.
Nani? Oh, it happens all the time. I think my experience is quite similar. It's also an investor who joined a meeting and asked, so when is the founder coming? This is all you have. This is all you got. Right. I think that it's important to, as you said, navigate that. Look at it as an opportunity, as opposed to an attack or a personal attack on you as a CEO or as a founder, because the world is changing, but it's taking time to get there. Our mindsets will also have to change, and it will take time to get there. So what do you do as a founder? I think I have, number one, started conversations with investors or potential customers who, thought of me as the, employee, and literally transformed that conversation into an entire dependence. Literally the customer not wanting to do anything without calling you and making sure you have, the advising them on that. So I think that has been a very interesting thing. For me, the most defining moment, and I think this is something that I really wanted to say, was the first time we had a female client. Because what we do is tuna charge batteries and tunapatia our clients pay-go, so flexible payments, repayment plans in rural areas. Now we have cargo loaders, we have tricycles. So women who are in agriculture, who farm in groups. The very first client I had really, really changed me. I think I cried that day, and because I'm openly an emotional person, this is something I do not hide about who I am, it was defining, because it meant that one, we've unlocked a new market, we've done something different, and two, it's that they trusted us enough to start something so new and to walk that journey with us. So that is very, very important for me and for us at Isafiri. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you could also answer Janet's question, Carol.
Yeah.
The most important yes, the most
defining
no.
Wait, put a pin. I know that I was going to call you Wakili, then I was like, listen to what she said. She said, call me Gloria. Gloria Kimani will have to leave us in about a minute. And so before you go, I wanted to ask you if there's a policy or norm or system that you could change in Kenya tomorrow, what would it be and why? System, policy, maybe speak to, especially in the line of work you do. What is that one thing that you're like, I know we are attacking so many things at the same time.
If I could change.
If I could change one or tweak one or introduce one policy tomorrow, what would it be and why?
Personal accountability, especially when it comes to all leaders, but especially in the police force. And there's something called command responsibility when it comes to police and what they do. But you find command responsibilities mostly when it's crimes against humanity. But when it's local crimes, there's no command responsibility. And we know when people are given, someone is shot during a protest, something is done during a protest, like it's very hard to get the command responsibility bit. And we are seeing it in Baby Pendo, but it's not really coming out strong. So if we really got to have
every person in each level accountable, and even going all the way to the executive, because these things cannot be done if the executive doesn't know. So I think it will be really important if we get to that point in Kenya. We see in places in working governments, when a train stops working, and it was just a technical issue.
Yep.
The one in charge resigns. Personally, they take it upon themselves. They're like, why did it happen under my watch? But when it comes to our country, that is totally opposite. Actually, it is even praised when some of the things are happening, some of the bad things that are happening in government, and you're praised. And at times, I even wonder, you know, even when it comes to us as the population, even voting these people in, we knew what they did in government, but we ourselves also go to the point of also praising them and rewarding them for the wrong things they did. So if we got to a point that we are actually holding people accountable, and each and every person accountable, I think everyone will be at guard, because even from the leadership, they're like, if you do anything wrong, you're on your own. And they are not defending what I think it will change the whole system. And it's a whole system, because even the point that I am caught by the police and I give that bribe, you're like, everybody is held accountable from top leadership even to citizens of the country.
Really well.
We have a call on the line, but before the caller comes in, Gloria, answer the following question after much reflection, because it's on air, it's going to be recorded.
Yes.
And at some point, you'll have to make this decision. Would you resign, Gloria, if something went awry under your watch?
As a lawyer, it depends. Now listen. It depends. It depends. If I am the one responsible for what has been done, or it was a mistake.
Something happened under your watch.
Yes, under my watch.
Yes.
Yes.
You are the minister in charge of transport.
Yes.
An accident has happened. 40 people are dead. Would Gloria, the CS, resign?
Again, we said it's about the systems. If we had put in place all the systems and something was working and it was an oversight, especially if I sat in that board and we knew there's a bump which was supposed to be put in this place and it was not put. If it's a working system, we will see how to work. But if it's a working system, I think I can.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Gloria. We have a call on the line, but before that, there's somebody who is congratulating you, Angela. Irene Mwinde, congratulations on your unwavering determination that has led to this well-deserved nomination. Keep soaring. You're destined for greatness. And now let's bring in the caller. Who's on the line?
Hi, this is Cecilia.
Who is Cecilia?
Cecilia Mutemi, Mama Angela Mutevia. I laugh like Angela, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of all the ladies there. So I'm just burning with excitement seeing that these young women are trailblazers and they are doing amazing things. What I need to just tell Angela is that keep it up, keep pushing. Mama loves you. I've seen you grow. I've seen you be brave. I've seen you push through. And the sky is just a stepping ground. Keep soaring. I love you.
Cecilia, I have a question for you.
First, she's
proposing.
Oh, so you're asking Cecilia.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Angela.
Cecilia, as Angela came home and said, you know what, 3 years of actuarial science, forget about it, I want to do something else. And then she finishes and then she says, I want to start another business. What are you feeling as a mother?
Oh, no, I don't
Cecilia, you still there?
She dropped.
She's dropped.
That would have been...
Okay. We'll get her back for that.
I know.
I'll tell you what she was feeling.
She was...
Hakuwa amebambika sana.
Yeah.
But...
Now she can see. See, now she's calling in and saying, you know, keep going, keep soaring. They will believe. One day they will believe. Gloria, we know that you need to leave.
Yeah.
Gloria is a human rights defender. She's an advocate of the High Court. And so she has to leave and go and defend humans. Their rights. But thank you and congratulations once again, Gloria.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
One of the top 40 under 40. Yeah. So Cecilia is back on the line. I don't know whether you heard me, Cecilia, asking this question off air, but I'm going to just repeat the question. So here's your daughter who is making very many decisions on the go, right? Sometimes at a high cost, like paying for university for all these years, and then she says, I'm going to change my course and go into something else. She graduates, and then she says, I want to start another business that is completely, uncharted territory for her. What was your reaction?
For me, I was looking at the investment that I have made in paying fees for 4 years. But after down, by the way, we are very liberal parents, and we allow them, Angela and the sister, to make the decisions that they want, of course, guided by us. I asked her, so what do you want? And she said, I've decided I want to do BCom marketing like my dad. I said, okay, have you got a college? Fine. Let's go to the bank. We went to COP, and I paid, and I told her, now from here, if you drop this one, you're on your own. But I knew her. I knew the kind of daughter that I have. I knew she's someone who pushes. She's a very determined and wise girl. She makes always the good decisions for herself. And I told her, if you feel like it's good for you, I'll support you. And above all, I kept just sending God an email, not email, an email. I kept kneeling down, praying for her, because Angela is the first grandchild, and there are many others who are looking at her to set up the pace. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I trusted her decision, and above all, I kept praying for her, and here we are. She has pushed through. I've seen her be brave. I've seen her be strong. I've seen her just doing her thing. Angela is like a cloud. I knew the minute I keep pushing her to continue with JQuat, I'll be making a grave mistake. She's like a cloud. You can't pin her. So I just let her be. And here we are. And I'm a proud mama.
Thank you, Mama.
And a happy mama.
Thank you. We celebrate moms like you as well, who are just part of that support system. So thank you as well.
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, bye.
So you see, Mama Angela has said, what did she say? She's like a cloud. You can't pin her. That shows, I think some people will either define it as stubborn, rebellion.
Yeah.
How do you all define? Because all of you are here also. Because there was a resilience that made you say, all of you are saying one thing to me. I'm choosing this direction. Yeah. So what was it? Do you think is it rebellion? Is it stubbornness? Is it resilience? How would you define it? Maybe we start with you.
It's that fire I was saying, that you're the only one who knows the temperature of that fire that burns in you. And you've got to vocalize it to at least the people who care and the people around you, so that once they understand that's what you feel, they're able to support you. For me, I want to look at it as go-getting. You're a go-getter, and nothing stops you. And once you smash this, you're off to the next and off to the next. I usually ask myself, what will you do on your deathbed those many years to come? Will you look back and be happy at the decisions you made, at the lives you impacted, at what you built? So if you look ahead and wonder what you will look back and see, you'll be able to make different decisions today.
It's about foresight, intuition, and again, that X factor, because not everybody is bold enough to hear themselves. Earlier, Eric, you wanted Carol to speak to most defining yes and most important no.
Yes.
Yes. So your most defining yes and your most important no in your career.
Right. My most important no was I stopped the ship that was sailing towards the medical field. And this was coming from a lot of pressure from family as well, who are very supportive of me. As it seems, I think every family has this type of dynamic where we think you should go one way, but then when you change your mind, we are behind you, right? And maybe not everyone has that benefit, but I think I benefited from that. Yes, it was hard. I remember my mom did not speak to me for like a month. when I decided to come back from a scholarship in Canada where I was to do my pre-med, so I did my IB, I was supposed to go into pre-med, and when I got the call that I got my job letter, admission to engineering at the University of Nairobi, I was like, I'm coming home. I had to find a way to come back home because I was very excited about this. So I think that was a very significant and defining moment, because I said no to something that I knew deep down was not speaking to me. But I think there's something that I wanted to say to the young people who are still trying to figure out who they are or what they want to do. Because I think most people, and even most of us on this platform now, have had that problem. where you don't know what it is that you're meant to do. And what I always say is, let fear stand behind you silently, and then face courage. Try as many things as you possibly can, whatever you can get your hand on. Like I said, I did Mjengo for a while. Then when I got the KPMG gig, I said, I'm going to do this. And then when, engineering came back full circle, I took it up. And then now an entrepreneur. If you practice the discipline that comes with trying new things and even failing at them, or trying new things and then realizing you're really good at it, then you actually get that motivation. And that's what happened to me. I always thought I'd like to sit behind a desk just designing, engineering projects. But then I realized that I had another gift, right? So the entrepreneurial gift came because I tried. I said, you know what, I'm gonna just go for it. So I think it's always important to let fear stand behind you. It's there, but it's silent. And then just face courage and try as many things as possible.
Yeah. That's good.
I wonder how we balance between this thing, this fire, this belief that you have, this vision that you have on, and I believe that this thing can work. It's the solution that people need, okay? And you've started it and it's moving. And then also taking in counsel from others who've been there before, even if they're not in your field, but they're entrepreneurs. And I'm basing this on the interview that we had here with Mike Macharia, a serial entrepreneur in the tech space, who said, I'm now bringing together a group of entrepreneurs who can just be talking and sharing that journey. Because as an entrepreneur, you are lonely. Yes. You are the only one who has the dream. Nobody else can see the dream. You're the only one who needs to move this vision. You need investors to come and put in money. You need workers to come and, move that dream towards reality. And you are battling all these things. And then at some point you're told, you need to have a board. Even if it's an advisory board or a corporate board. And those guys in the board are just the most annoying people. How do you balance that? That's
a good question.
All these other voices that are trying to, they're trying to help you. So they think. But you don't think they're helping you at some point. Start with you, maybe, Angela.
Okay, let me take that. I'm very passionate about that particular area because having done business now, I think this should be my 15th year from when I started my first business. You can go in with that fire, but then you realize that the success of your enterprise is based on other people. Being a manufacturer, I did not study manufacturing engineering, but our head of production studied manufacturing engineering. Our head of quality control studied industrial chemistry. Again, I have been blessed with the good fortune of having people around me who do business. And you see the balance, the same way Wakili Gloria spoke about balance, the balance in entrepreneurship is knowing when to slightly step back and allow the business to shine. And when I started my first business, I did not have that understanding or wisdom. Now I know that organizations are run by people, not founders. Organizations are steered by people. And it will get to the point, maybe Mzito will have 1,000 people, 2,000 people, right? All these people have a say towards the success. So as much as that fire burns, the balance is in knowing that you're not the system. You need to create a system. You are not the all-knowing person. And now I think I have learned there's someone who's specialized in HR. Not only is she a professional, but a possible friend. There's someone who's specialized in law. That person handles whatever has to do with legal. There's someone else who's very good at systems. That's their area of specialty. So it allows the entrepreneur to run the vision. And then there's a whole ecosystem running like a machine, a well-oiled machine that now drives that vision forward. And I think that's the solution, especially to Kenyan businesses making that leap, moving from now nano, micro, MSME to now the next level where we're able to build things that outlive us, and even outlive our kids.
That's really sober. I want to hear Ruth's reflections as well, based on anything that Angela has said, because, sometimes there's that founder syndrome. And sometimes people say, as a founder, you can stand in the way of the business. So how do you know when you're standing in the way? How do you know when you're exerting, your authority? But to Angela's point, how do you know when you're like, actually, I'm just part of a system? Have you grappled with that as well?
Well, where I'm at right now, it's me who's doing everything.
You're in that phase.
Yeah, I'm the marketer, I'm the social media manager out there looking for clients, letting people know what I'm doing. It's quite tiresome. And I've been telling myself that as I grow, I'll bring people on board to relieve me of the duties so that I'm also able to focus on other things. Because, you know, when you're reading, again, there's a client that wants to see you. How do I balance time? Yeah. So I know as I grow, then the business will create demand, and the demands will have to be responded to. So I'll be able to bring in more people on board.
I want to ask Monica, Carol, and Angela something just based on what Ruth has just said, because a lot of people are where she is, right? You've started, you have this brilliant business idea, it's already doing well. So I think people struggle with, where do I go next? When do I know I need to reach out to investors? Am I too young to reach out to investors as a business? Because I think the next to growth is where sometimes somebody can grapple with that. So speak to people who are like Ruth. In fact, Ruth has managed to do remarkably in terms of what you're doing, but many are like her. I'm on my own. How do I move forward? Just any one of you. Maybe we can start with Carol, then Monica, then Angela.
Yeah, I think that it's fantastic what you've managed to achieve. I mean, most, if not all, entrepreneurs start in this, you know, you're alone. What do I need to do? And I'll get it done. And then slowly but surely, it's not just the investors you have to convince, you're also going to have to convince people to come and work for you. And because for me, my mantra has always been employ people who are smarter than you. So they must know something I don't, because that's the only way then there's value brought into the company. But slowly but surely, and I think what you're doing is fantastic. And I mean, for all the other people out there, the first step is make somebody believe you enough to want to come and work for you, even for free, if possible. To want to come and intern with you, to want to come and participate in the start of this project. And then later, you will see the value of that type of loyalty and friendship grow into actually building the organization. The organization will be built by these people who will join you along the way. Maybe you're not able to provide healthcare, for example, private healthcare, but then you know, along the journey, you're able to provide all these other benefits that then will attract more talent. But I think for me, it's always been hiring the smartest people. And when it comes to looking for investment, we've seen people, you know, of different descent go into an investor meeting just with a pitch deck and raise money. I think my experience as an African woman has been a bit different. We know that, you know, venture capitalists, only 2% of VC funding goes to women globally. So it's been a challenge because, you know, in the beginning, you think you can just go with your pitch deck and say, this is a fantastic idea. I'm telling you something that is going to revolutionize the world, but you have to prove yourself a bit more. But I say, do not falter. You have to start somewhere, whether it's non-diluted funding that will support you, so grant funding in these different sectors, in healthcare, in energy. There are very many groups that would, you know, look at your idea and say, you know what, go for it. This is a bit of cash. Let's see what you can do with it. And then they're the ones who will advocate for you. So for us, it was, you know, our first grant fund that helped advocate for us beyond that. And of course now meeting other equity investors eventually and things like that. So it is very important to start somewhere where somebody believes in you in that sector. Yeah.
Love that.
All right. Again, we go back to the fire that we spoke about, that burns in you. It'll get you started, but it'll not last you. It's not the only thing you need. So you will need business mentors to work with you. You will need to understand when to bring in other players. I want you to look at entrepreneur as a mother, in a motherhood direction. And when you conceive a child, you will carry that child alone as a mother. And until you give birth to that child, the first few months of this child's life entirely depends on you as a mom, at least to the 90% extent. But as you grow, you start releasing. Now another person can feed the child. The child is also depending on other things, not just, say, breast milk, but also other needs. So the same case with business. When you bring a business to being, the first few years, let's say, or the first few steps, you have to run with it. So whatever she's doing, we all did that, and we have gotten to where we are because of putting in that work. I also spoke about making other people buy your vision and own it. So once you successfully do that, without making sure that you don't dilute it, they're able to take on the business to the next level. That's when now you will need a board, like the board you're talking about. I look at Avocap and the board that sits and the direction they steer us even being the founders, giving other people the powers to manage us, then you really have to trust and you have to select right. And once you do that, then at least everything is coherent and you're able to move on the same direction. Otherwise, the balance that we were talking about, you've got to know which season you are in and what balance matters most. At times, the balance in the business is more critical than the balance in your family, your friends. And then you have to, once it balances, you shift. Now you focus onto the other one. We have to be comfortable in the discomfort of imbalance. Yes.
There's so many quotes.
Next week's quote.
Next week, comfortable in the imbalance.
You have to be comfortable in the discomfort of the imbalance.
She's spoken to something interesting, which is how your priorities shift, and not a lot of people around you will understand. There's a season of isolation, there's a season of collaboration, there's all of these things. So yeah,
we call it season ya maringo.
No. Others call it
everybody else will be saying
blue ticking.
Your blue tick, the blue tick season.
Squeezy umeingia maringo. You don't even respond to messages.
No.
You don't even come for.
That's when you tell them it's a season.
It's a season.
Others, biblically, it's called the wilderness. And it's tough, but it's supposed to build you. If there were any other reflections, I think on having a board, that's a really good question you asked about.
How do you know when to bring in these others?
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, and also how to deal with things that happen. I always talk about like the stop work order. Which even affected my foundation. So how do you guys navigate something where you wake up and this entire dream you built, suddenly it's, you have to figure out how to shift. Has that ever happened? And how were you able to say, okay, this was unexpected, we have to pivot. So has anybody faced it? Were you able to navigate? Clearly you were able to navigate it, that's why you're in the studio today. But it happened, how were you able to say, okay, I guess this is part of business, but this is how I'm going to pivot?
2024. In May, and by we I mean my husband and I, who also happens to be the chairman of our family group, had to make a tough decision to shut down Kapulangu. And Kapulangu is the core of pretty much what birthed Mzito. And you know it's time, but you hold on. And you hold on like your life depends on it. But you know it's time. And even as an entrepreneur, I think there's a growth curve. And for example, between the first 2 years, you're pretty much the one who's handling everything within the business, even if you loop in people. And at that point, I think a business is considered, do you have an MVP? You have an MVP. Ruth, something that we can tangibly see and do. Then comes in the other stage where now you can't run this MVP alone. You have to actually put it out, test if the market wants to actually buy the product, use the product, and now you're growing the business. And then it gets from that second stage to another third stage where now this is no longer your baby. This is no longer something that is based off of the founder. It needs a whole load of expertise. At the point where you need a whole load of expertise is the point where you also need governance. And you see that happening a lot with family businesses where, for example, Angela and Ondeje are transitioning to now our children, and it's bigger than us and bigger than anything we ever envisioned it could be. But that form of transition from one generation to another is where most people bring in boards. Because now, you're not sure this child wants to run this business. And even if they do, you're not sure your visions align. So at that point, you need more expertise to hold it together. And I think that's where most people normally bring in boards, especially in the local context. How was it transitioning? Difficult. I took a year of social media, pretty much, between 6 to 8 months, not a year really. And I think the other day, someone I considered a friend looked at me and told me, I was sure you are in a deep depression. After you closed Kapulangu, I was sure you were in a deep depression. Turns out you are building a monster.
Wow.
Yeah. But then you realize that, yes, you will have to step back and you will have to allow perceptions to flow. Don't control the perceptions. Let them flow if you're in that season of silence. And then when you rebuild, then build up with lessons learned. We have a funny little book that we write, my husband and I, and it's called Funzo. And Funzo is, don't let the mistake repeat itself. Umesoma nini hapa? Funzo hapa ilikuwa nini?
That's really good.
Iwe funzo.
There's something we have to read before we come back and wind up from this incredible group, which is another news fix we're following for you. Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat is set to make an appearance before Justice Bahati Wamuye this morning. He's expected to appear in court in person. Lagat has been summoned in connection with the ongoing probe into teacher Albert Ojwang's murder in police custody. Ojwang was arrested following Lagat's complaint over posts the slain teacher on social media accusing the deputy police boss of impropriety. Security around the court is likely to be tight, and the Nation team will be on the ground to bring you the latest as it unfolds. So a developing story that we're bringing to you just as we wind up. And just like that, time is up. How? Imagine that.
Just like that.
Just incredible. All of you. Thank you.
You four ladies are among the 40, top 40 under 40 women for this year. And we congratulate you once again. Here.
Thank you very much.
Receive your flowers.
That quote again, as we go.
Oh, the quote for Angela Merkel.
Yeah,
wow,
like carry your flowers without shouting.
No. You have ever heard of broken telephone? Broken telephone. Broken. Always be more than you appear and never appear to be more than you are.
Yeah.
I think you've proved that here. Thank you so much for everything you do. We look forward to you guys celebrating. I'm sure you're looking forward to that event as well. Yeah. And just thank you for sharing your light with all of us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you to our fixers. We'll be back tomorrow, Homa Bay, God willing. So we said God willing. So
yes.
God willing, we'll be in Homa Bay tomorrow for the kickoff of the Devolution Conference happening all week in Homa Bay County. Janet Bogwa, Eric Latif will be joined by Mariam Bishar as well. Up next, Your World on NTV and Vibe Shift on Nation FM. See you tomorrow.